Hello, everybody, and thank you for joining us for another value-packed TenantCloud podcast. If you want to be a more informed, better educated, and successful landlord, then stay tuned. With over a decade of property management experience, we bring you short and sweet, bite-sized pieces of incredibly valuable property management tidbits in 10 minutes or less. Today, we'll be covering the 5 things that successful landlords know about leasing to college students. Even if you aren't in a college town, you won't want to miss out on this information. Let's get started. Today's podcast, like we said, is about the 5 successful things that landlords know about renting to college students. If you're in a city like Austin, Texas, you know that those rental markets are heavily influenced by the influx of new students every year. And knowing how the local rental market is affected by those students and understanding how to take advantage of that type of a rental market can be one of the keys to becoming a successful landlord. And don't worry, even if you aren't in a necessarily college student town, you still need to know these things because most towns and cities also have local colleges. Austin has the Austin Community College, which is a growing university. It's a growing college, and if you are in a town of any size, usually you're going to have some type of a community college, and those community colleges are going to have college students that attend them. And those college students don't always live on campus. In fact, many community colleges do not offer on-campus living. And so knowing how to attract those tenants to your properties is key to being a successful landlord in many areas outside of just big, huge cities that are well known for their colleges and universities. So what is the first thing that a successful landlord knows about renting to college students? It's important to note that we know a few things about renting to college students. We have managed mostly a lot of properties in Houston and Austin in particular is known as a very big college and university city. And so there's many colleges here, and including UT, and so we know a thing or two about renting to college students. So here are the 5 things that successful landlords know about renting to college students. Number 1, millions of college students live and rent off campus. They don't all live on campus. In fact, according to the College Board, they did a survey and found that 44% of college students live off campus. Why does that matter? Because that means millions of college students are looking for off-campus rental properties all across the United States. This is something that every single landlord should be paying attention to, is surveys like this. This particular one was done by the College Board, showing that, again, at least 44% of college students live off campus. Number 2, provide specific amenities that are geared towards college students. Now, if you want to hear more about this, we're keeping this under 10 minutes. If you want to learn more about this, you can go to TenantCloud's blog and look up the blog posted on July 29th called The 3 Amenities That Millennials and Gen Z Expect in a Rental. There's some they might be common sense, but they might not be. You might be surprised by what we recommend that you make sure that you provide as an amenity to college students to attract that renter demographic. Number 3, guarantors and co-signers. Successful landlords know that many college students who live off campus tend to have financial backing of some type. And this is usually in the form of financial aid or even a relative who is helping them through their college years. And in my experience, payments from guarantors for college students were far more consistent and on time than most of my other tenants. So just remember to guarantee or to verify the guarantor's income prior to approval, though. That is a key step to ensure that the new college student renter will not default on their agreement. You want to make sure that the guarantor is able to back up the tenant, or you want to verify that the college student does have the proper financial aid or housing assistance to be able to afford your particular rental. Number 4, first-time renters. There's a reason that some properties charge higher deposits for first-time renters. If you're renting to college students, there's a good chance that they are a first-time renter. And so successful landlords know how to rent to these first-time renters. Most successful landlords who attract a lot of college students to the rentals tend to do the following. 1, they charge a higher deposit to cover any unexpected losses, such as unreported issues that turn into damages later on, or something simple as water damage because they put the wrong type of soap or something into a dishwasher. Believe me, these are common issues with first-time renters. 2, they provide a convenient platform that allows their first-time tenants to submit maintenance requests in the simplest way possible. And TenantCloud is really great because they can submit a maintenance request online using our mobile app, which most internet users now are using smartphones and tablets. Very few people use computers or laptops anymore. And so providing an app that allows them to pay online as quickly and conveniently as possible, as well as submit maintenance requests, is key to attracting these younger generations, these college student demographics. The third part of that is, like I just mentioned, pay online, a convenient way to pay online. And again, they can do that from their mobile device. They can connect a bank account and they can set it for auto withdrawal and boom, done. Don't have to worry about anything. It's a great way to attract college students who have an extremely busy schedule, and paying rent sometimes skips their mind. I know that seems silly, but they do have very busy schedules. And so just providing that way so that they don't forget about it, so that they won't incur late fees, et cetera, definitely important to provide that as a payment option. And lastly, make sure that you're frequently conducting property inspections to ensure that basic maintenance items are being taken care of, like HVAC filters, the air filters. Make sure the drains are clear. Make sure the dryer vents are cleaned out, etc. First-time renters, college students tend to be first-time renters, and it's important that you make sure that your property is being taken care of. And these are things that they're just not aware of, or they don't have time to be tending to them. So just make sure that you schedule frequent property inspections for basic maintenance items for your property. And last but not least, roommates and affordable rentals near colleges and universities. Successful landlords know that even if a student has financial backing from a guarantor or financial aid, they're generally not trying to live in the most expensive rental in town. In fact, it's quite often the opposite. They usually look for more economical rentals. That being said, one of the quickest ways to make a rental affordable to them is to split the cost with someone else. And so many college students will solve the unaffordability issue by having a roommate. This can either be on a combined lease for a rental, or it can be on a separate lease where each person is responsible for their own amount. If one defaults, it doesn't affect the other, et cetera. But in order to allow that, you would need to market your property as a rental that allows roommates. And you'd be surprised how many landlords don't allow roommate situations, even in college towns. And so it's important to make sure that you position your rental property as a property that allows roommates and encourages it, even so that students will apply to your rental property. For instance, your property, if you rent to a single person or a family, you might only get $1,400 for it. But if you rent it to roommates, they might each pay $800 or $900 per student, which is far more affordable than $1,400 if they each had to pay that. But now instead of only getting $1,400 a month, you're getting $1,600 to $1,800 per month. And it's still going to be cheaper to those college students than anything else of its kind on the market in that area. So successful landlords know how to market their rental properties as a roommate rental option for these college students. So now that you know what they know, the question is, are you going to reach out to this demographic? Is this going to be one of your target demographics? Do you have what it takes to rent to this demographic? You have to be aware that there generally will be a little bit higher turnover because college students, they get kicked out of school, they transfer schools, they finish school, they leave school, graduate, etc. And the list goes on. So turnover will be a little bit higher, but the amount of time that you have your rental leased throughout the year should be more consistent, because the amount of rentals available to first-time renters and college students in general is slim pickings in most college areas. And so by positioning yourself as a rental for those college students, you tend to attract college students every single year, and so your rental remains occupied throughout most of the year. And the good side is you'll get higher rent, you'll get reduced vacancy, and you get word-of-mouth marketing. If you have a great rental for your college students, awesome. They're going to tell their friends. They have friends who are in high school who are about to graduate and go to the same colleges that they are. And they're going to tell their friends because their friends are going to ask them, hey, where did you stay? What's the cool parts of town? So on and so forth. And so you want to be the first property that is on the lips of your prior tenants. So make sure that you provide great service, great amenities, and really market yourself to this demographic, and you will find success in these areas as a successful landlord in a college town. So, and while there's some crazy kids in the bunch, reckless behavior, immature, poor decision-making skills, for the most part, college students are law-abiding citizens, and they're no different than any other tenants you may rent to. They're good and bad tenants of all types, and that's where the tenant screening plays a major role in helping ensure that you only rent out to the best of the best. You can learn more about that by reading our blog post, The Complete Guide to Tenant Screening, at tenantcloud.com/blog, and check out that blog post about tenant screening. We appreciate you taking the time to listen today, and that is it. We will see you next time, and have a fantastic week.